Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Good to have you back with us, sharing this virtual space as we are heading towards the end of the year. And hopefully, you have been doing well with good health, with good spirits, and enjoying the fall migration. Um, this presentation is because we want to show our company, Icaro Birding, wants to show you what are the protocols and guidelines that we have put in place in order to keep you safe when you travel to Colombia in the middle of COVID-19. We have been putting this set of guidelines in line with what the adventure and outdoor tourism industry is kind of putting together for the whole industry. But of course, we have tailor-made this to our specific bird watching tours, and also the rules, regulations, and the health system of Colombia. So without further ado, join me as we spend some time presenting and talking about these protocols. I'm just gonna share here my screen. Okay, then travel with confidence, Colombia COVID-19 safety guidelines. Um, just gonna change. Okay, perfect. Then travel in a responsible way is back. Colombia just last week opened again its airports for international flights, commercial international flights, not to all destinations, not with the same frequency as it was before, but traveling is back. And with traveling, tourism uh, also comes, but now in a responsible way. We have developed a set of safety standards to mitigate the risks associated to COVID-19 virus transmission while traveling. We know that it's impossible for us to completely eliminate the risk um, associated with COVID, but now we are confident that we can mitigate those risks. These standards are based on guidelines by the Adventure Travel Association and tailored to our own operations in Colombia and the laws, regulations, and health protocols in the country. We want to make sure you feel safe traveling with us to Colombia, and this is of paramount importance to us. We're ready to operate while minimizing COVID-19 contamination risk. When traveling, bird watching anyways has advantages. If we compare it to some other forms of tourism, bird watching or ecotourism in general um, goes around small groups of 4 to 6 participants. So for the first few tours that we're going to be running in 2021, we are going to limit the number of participants to 6 the most. And of course, we are going to encourage and we're going to be more than happy to take couples, family that live together, or just close friends with whom you feel very confident that you will travel and be safe. Outdoors in a natural setting is what happens pretty much all the time during our watching tour. And then spacing and protection measures are easy to implement by the same nature of our outdoor birding tours in small groups. But then we believe the shared responsibility is vital. We are putting together the protocols and we are going to make sure that we follow through and implement them in the right way, as well with our local partners, and that the government is also doing its part and the health system is ready. But also we want them to just tell you that it's important that you as our guest need to please comply with the protocols when traveling abroad, and that you take care of yourself, basically that you follow social distancing rules while at home in preparation to your tour. And this is very telling because as you can see, this is kind of pretty much what we do during bird watching. It's easy to maintain distance, it's in a natural setting, so it feels just very safe and it feels right. But this is last week, downtown Nashville, where I live. I mean, most people are following through with wearing a face mask, but as you can see, impossible to maintain social distancing in a very crowded area. So I will rather be on this situation than that one, and I think that we can pretty much relate on this situation. Okay, there are different stages of that we need to consider when you are planning an international trip, bird watching trip to Colombia. So before you travel, the Colombian government has declared is a mandate that you need to present a negative COVID-19 test, and it needs to be taken within 96 hours from departure. So 4 days before departure, you need to present a COVID-19 negative test. You also need to complete a self-assessment screening questionnaire, and this goes in the line of traceability. And the questioning goes more or less like, what are your clients' isolation habits? If you, for example, know somebody who has been COVID positive in the last few weeks, what are your pre-existing high-risk conditions? That's very important for all of us to know. The whole system needs to know that. And this existence of signs of symptoms prior to the trip. So everything related to traceability. You're also going to need to complete a digital form that we will send your way within 24 hours from flight departure. And this is just to expedite your time upon arrival in Colombia. So instead of you completing the paperwork that customs officer will require in the airport, you do that now online. So much more efficient and a faster way to go through customs. And travel with confidence policy with us. If you are feeling unwell, when, for example, you are at the airport, they check your temperature and is high, or if you test positive for COVID-19, any reason for which you could not travel last minute to Colombia that is COVID-19 related, then a peace of mind that you know the tour will be postponed to a future date and your price is locked. So as long as you are participating in the same experience as you were booked originally, the price is gonna be locked, and we're just gonna look forward to have you at the right time. Now at the airport and during flights, pretty much is super standard across the whole industry. Most main airlines will actually have very similar protocols in place, and that's why I just decided to show a video from what United Airlines is doing in order to keep us safe. So I'm just gonna play this video. Okay. Then I'm just gonna comment in these few things. Health safety, super important now for customer experience. Cleveland Clinic is one of the main hospital systems when it comes to these protocols. They prioritize our well-being. There will be social distancing, of course, during check-in, protective shields throughout the airport, and now we are reducing touch points by using the apps provided by the airlines, as well as you can do your own check-in and get the tab for your bag. A health self-assessment that we mentioned before, airlines will require, but they will also provide the link for you to complete it. There will be hand sanitizer stations throughout the airport, and they will just increase their disinfecting and cleaning protocols throughout the whole areas, common areas at the airport, as well as they will overhaul their cleaning procedures inside the airplanes. And disinfecting is gonna be more thoroughly than it was before. These filters are very important because these are filters that can keep 99.9% of viruses, including COVID-19 virus, away from our systems. They will board back of the plane first. They will require that everyone on the airplane wears masks. As you can see now, food is going to be provided on a sealed bag, and they are going to remove pretty much everything that can be picked up at an airplane. So that's pretty much what they have in place for us to feel safe when traveling. I know that airports can cause anxiety, but believe me that I believe the air industry is the one that is leading in terms of protocols and things that need to happen in the right way in order to promote people to travel again in a safety way. Okay, now upon arrival to Bogota, pretty much the same protocols that in the Bogota or Medellin or Cali airport that you will have in the US. You will require to wear a mask at the airport, and your tour guide will pick you up wearing a mask too. Either the tour guide, myself, the driver, whoever is there to pick you up. At hotels, lodges, paperless pre-check options are not only favored, but I'm working with all our local partners so that they actually have the technology in place so that we can minimize exposure and to expedite the check-in process. And something that is very easy to actually accommodate in this sense is just, for example, to get a copy of all your passports ahead of time and send that copy to the hotel so that they can expedite that check-in process. Intros, presentation, Q&A are going to be done preserving social distance among participants, and we are going to use a location in the hotel that is going to be kind of isolated from other guests that they may have in the hotel at the same time. We will favor hotel lodges that have in-house dining, so unfortunately, we're not going to be going to too many restaurants when we are especially in the main big cities, just to prevent the risk of contamination. But that doesn't mean that every now and then we will be able to go to a restaurant, but it's just gonna have to be a restaurant that me myself can be 100% sure have all the protocols and safety measures in place. Only one printed copy of checklist per participant will be given, and this will be really the only hard copy of actual item that you will receive from us, and we ask you to please don't share it with others. So just keep it to yourself. During the tour, every morning we will ask about symptoms, and we will take participants' temperature, and that will include the driver, the guide, myself, whoever is participating in the tour, and we will keep a data log. And that is not only, of course, to pick up on symptoms, but also to keep up with the traceability that we discussed at the very beginning. We will provide a personal safety kit containing a mask, hand sanitizer, toilet paper, and reusable water bottle. So don't worry about those items. If you want to bring them, even better, but we will have more than enough to go throughout the tour. We will have a scope. All our guides have a scope, a size, nice, beautiful scope, and he will share it with you. But just keep in mind that he will have to clean it and disinfect it after each of you uses it. And also thorough cleanliness and disinfection at the end of the day. So in that area, I encourage you to please bring your own gear. So scope, field guide, of course binoculars, um, for your personal use and that of your family group. On the field, we encourage social distance as much as possible, although we understand by the nature of our birding tours that sometimes when we want to see those small skulky little birds like the antipitas that we only get like really 20-30 seconds chance to see properly, then that's not going to be possible to achieve. But just please bear in mind and be cognizant that there is other people around you, and please wear your mask. Basically wear your mask and be aware that other people is around you. We will secure a private area to call birds every night to do the checklist, and it's going to be very easy to accommodate this in an outdoor setting unless we are in Bogota or in any other major city, but anywhere else we can do that, no problem. And we will keep and share an even list to all participants. So if you don't feel like you want to sit around other people doing the checklist at night, that's fine, because you can rest assured that we will share the eBird list of all the birds seen during the day, that same day or the day after. So just for you to know. Land transportation protocol. We work with the best land transportation company in Colombia for bird watching, and they are top notch when it comes to bird watching tours. Period. That they are like the real deal in Colombia for bird watching, and they know the protocols. They have always kept that very high standard when it comes to clean, to disinfection, and to safety of all our participants. We will use the same private van at all times. We don't change vans, we don't change driver. Um, Depending on the tour, sometimes we will have them to move from a van to a 4x4 or 4WD vehicle, but that will be a vehicle from the same company, and we'll also have all those same protocols in place. Unless from the same family or living together, we ask you that you leave a seat empty between participants. Pretty much the same as happened in an airplane. Our driver will wear a mask at all times. The vehicle's AC system will be equipped with filters that are similar to those used in airplanes and medical grade mask. So for the air that circulates inside the vehicle to be as clean and free of particles and including virus as possible. And whenever possible, we'll also just open the windows of a vehicle just for air to circulate. And we'll make plenty of stops for you to be able to get off, get on from the van. Remove your mask because you need to wear a mask while you are in the van, and just make sure that air keeps circulating at all time. The driver will clean and disinfect high-touch surfaces like door handlers often, and often means every time you hop off, hop on back on the van, he will need to perform that disinfection. And a vehicle's deep clean and disinfection will be performed at the end of the day. So we can make sure that every morning when we are boarding the vehicle, the vehicle is in top-notch, good, clean shape for all of us to use. Now, hotel lodges COVID-19 protocol. Our local partners have increased their daily cleaning with disinfection of surfaces and extra cleaning on high contact areas such as light switches and door handlers that are pretty much used all the time. And they also will have rules in place to alternate the use of dining area with other groups. So that's something that is very important. If there is another group of birders, for example, in the same lodge we are using, then we are never going to be really in the same common area at the same time. So I think that's something very clever to right now. We are going to be using a face mask when we are in common areas, and hotel lodges will have their own screening measures for their staff in place. They will provide access to hand washing facilities and sanitizers throughout the facility, and we will organize for checklists to be completed outdoors, as mentioned before. This is one of our main partners in Colombia. In the coffee area is the Tinamu Birding Reserve. I'm just going to show some of the pictures of what they are doing in order to keep up with the protocols and actually function while performing those protocols. So, for example, all food items, supplies that come into the lodge will go through this disinfecting protocol process before getting into the lodge, and that will include our luggage as well, but not the optics. The optics is each of us responsibility to clean and disinfect. The rooms, just look how deep cleaning and disinfection procedures they have in place, and how well they keep their own staff safe while keeping us safe as well. And the way that they just clean all our food, the way that they prepare it, even with gloves on, disposable gloves, sorry, and face mask, and covering their mouth and nose. And at the beginning of each morning, they will perform this screening of like temperature screening to all their staff to make sure that they don't have any fever, any symptoms. They will have hand sanitizer stations throughout the location, and even we can use our cell phones to scan here to know the latest updates on their safety, cleanliness, and biosafety protocols. That's when it comes to lodges. Now, what happens if there is a suspected or confirmed COVID-19 case? Then, upon presenting symptoms like coughing, fever, respiratory distress, muscle pain, or headache, the participant will go on self-isolation for the day. And this is very, very important because It may not even be COVID-19 related, but still just for us to 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 mitigate any potential risk associated with COVID-19, we need that person to go on self-isolation for the day. And that person may be me, maybe if it's driver or if it's the guide, then immediately we will call somebody to replace him for the day. So that's not going to be an issue. Don't worry about that. Mm, but it's important, and hopefully we're not going to be close. I mean, we're not going to be in any major city at that time, so that you can still enjoy the view from a beautiful outdoors kind of lodge where with good views to gardens where you can still enjoy the natural settings and birds. If symptoms persist, we will contact Call Asistencia, which is our local insurance partner. A medical doctor will determine via video call whether COVID-19 test is needed. And if it's needed, then a COVID-19 test will be performed at the closest health center. We will take you there. We will take care of you at all times. And if the result is positive, then we will follow the guidelines by the health authorities at that moment. Most likely will include that you will have to go, or I will have to go into quarantine. That's pretty much the case. Medical expenses, including COVID-19 tests, are already covered under your travel policy with us. So just by booking, by paying your tour to Colombia with Icaro Birding, then this is a given. You have already this insurance. This is a insurance company that we have used for the last 2.5 years. They are super serious. They are really good, especially for tourism, for outdoor kind of tourism. But it's still an entry level insurance. It's mostly for emergency situations, but they perform very good in those situations. Still, we encourage you to acquire comprehensive medical and travel insurance. And then some final considerations. Our ultimate goal is to guarantee that you have a delightful birding experience while feeling confident that your safety is being taken care of. We are working closely with our local partners to further optimize their health, safety, and cleanliness procedures. And we know that this isn't a one-size-fits-all world. We are confident we can mitigate the risk associated to COVID-19 exposure by implementing the protocols and guidelines here presented, but I totally understand that probably the majority of you will not think about international travel until there is an FDA approved vaccine that is widely available and that it has proven to be effective. And I 100% get that. So in that way, and ultimately, you need to decide what level of risk is acceptable to you. We will wait for your right time to come birding again to the birdest country on earth, Colombia. And with that, I finish the presentation, and I hope that this helps a little bit to guide your decision about what will be the right time to join us again on a birding adventure to Colombia. And with that, I say bye. Thank you. See you next time.